The M1 Pro MacBook is the best laptop that I've ever owned. I think it's absolutely amazing and it does pretty much everything that I throw at it. But it also has a few drawbacks, a few things that I wish it had, and one really annoying issue that I'll tell you about at the end of the video. The spec I got is this one. So I got the 14-inch MacBook with the most powerful M1 Pro chip. There's two you can choose from, and this is the most powerful out of the two. It has two more CPU cores, and it has two extra GPUs. So that makes 8 performance cores CPU plus 2 efficiency cores and a 16 core GPU. It has 1 terabyte of SSD, and this was not configured. It was like pre-built, so you can likely find this on the market if you're after one. That would definitely be my recommendation, to get this config. So the most powerful M1 Pro chip and the 1 terabyte SSD. I paid about 2,600 euros for it back in 2022. And today I just checked back market and I saw you can get it for about 1,000 euros. So that would be also around $1,000 probably in the US. I checked in back market, so check it out on there if you want to look it up. I got the 14-inch because it's more portable, it's lighter, it fits easier on like small tables, in a coffee shop or in an airplane. And I don't know, I generally like smaller tech more than all those huge devices. Like all my devices are the smaller models. For example, I have the iPhone 13 mini, I have the smaller MacBook, the 14-inch, but usually I try to get smaller devices because it's so much more portable. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's start with the design. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but the design for me is excellent. I think it's beautiful, elegant, and it does look like a proper serious machine. And as a minimalist, I really think it ticks all the boxes. And I think it does look best in this silver color, which contrasts really well with the all black keyboard section, as not only the keyboard is black, but the aluminum underneath it as well. So I'll rate the design of this MacBook a 9 out of 10. Battery life is also amazing. I have no complaints there. The official numbers say that you get 17 hours of video playback and 11 hours of web browsing, but of course in real life scenarios, that's never really how you use your device. So for me, I do development work, I do video editing, photo editing, video calls, and that of course consumes more battery than those tests. So I think I would get about 5 to 6 hours per day. I mean, before I need to recharge the battery, which is honestly plenty enough. But if you do some lighter to medium tasks, the M1 Pro chip is really efficient and you'll get more out of it. So for battery life, I give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, let's head to the next section, functions. The biggest issue with the previous generation of MacBooks was its lack of ports. Not having an HDMI or an SD card slot felt like we got grounded or something. That was, as far as I know, sacrifices that Apple made in order to make the device as thin as possible and make some extra money selling accessories. But all Macs now have MagSafe back as well. Then we have the fingerprint sensor, another godsend. It makes entering passwords a breeze. The trackpad is huge and excellent as well. Also the best I've used on any device. And the full-size keyboard is also as good as I needed. Home run there again. It's comfortable, although a bit mushy. I came from a MacBook Air M1 before this computer. I remember initially missing the more clicky feeling of the MacBook Air. I guess that felt a bit more satisfying, and as someone who uses a clicky mechanical keyboard, it's really what I like. The sound is also amazing. It was a huge improvement over the past models. The bass really stood out. I used to always connect an external Bluetooth speaker to my computer when consuming media, but since I got this computer, I really don't feel the need anymore, unless it's to listen music. And last but not least, we have the 120 Hz mini LED display, which has amazing colors and it's super smooth. there's just this tiny issue where, yeah, when you look at white text on, let's say, a dark background, you would see a little halo effect, but really it didn't bother me that much. Overall, for the functions, I'll give it an 8 out of 10, and I'll tell you why at the end of the video, because I think it lacks a few things. As for the comfort, well, the keyboard feels great. The only thing is like when you type, maybe the edges of the computer can feel a bit sharp when you type, but that only really happens if you type for a long time and at a specific angle. Then the fan noise is almost non-existent, and that's really invaluable to me. The fan does go on sometimes, especially if I am video editing and compiling software, but it's hardly noticeable. The only way I really know it turns on is thanks to a software that I use on my computer, which basically tells me when it turns on and at what speed. Performance. So I have the most powerful M1 Pro chip that was available at the time, which made the most sense to me considering battery efficiency, as the Max chips consumed quite a bit more. It has handled all the tasks that I've thrown at it flawlessly: video, photo editing, compiling software, music production, and other intensive processes have never really been an issue. I also only have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I've had no issues whatsoever with that either so far. Actually, I've been limited by hardware, and that was for running local LLMs. This is the only time I've overrun this computer, and anything bigger than an 8 gigabyte LLM model and throwing multiple requests at a time made the processors run hot almost instantly. So if you're looking to run local LLMs on your computer, don't get this one. You'll need to get something much more powerful, especially with more RAM. I'd look into the latest M4 Pro or M4 Max models with as much RAM as you can afford for that use case if I were you. And this is the biggest issue that I've had with this Mac. So the screen got damaged really fast without me doing anything. Just using it normally, carrying it in my backpack, and these marks, I've tried like cleaning them and like trying to get rid of them, but they are really permanent and there's nothing you can do. It's just, I guess, the contact with the keyboard and the screen makes it happen, and I believe it's still happening in the newer ones. What I wish it really had is this. So for example, about a month ago, I was looking for a SSD, an external SSD for my Mac. I was looking into options into getting NVMe. That's like basically putting SSDs in a case, and you could get pretty good speed with USB 2.2, 2.3 actually. I'm not sure which one it is anymore, 2.2 or 2.3. And this gives you insane speeds that are like much faster than what you can actually get on this MacBook. This MacBook has like 2.1 or 2.2, and I think that's still the case for the newer M4 MacBooks. The only way you can get those speeds is to get a SSD compatible with Thunderbolt, and these are much more expensive than those. I wish it also came with this option where you could get a matte display, which you can get in the newer ones. If you work outdoors or in bright environments, honestly, it makes a big difference. I've seen it on some friends' devices, and it's much more effective than I expected. And last but not least, the camera. The camera is 1080p, and honestly, the quality is a bit so-so. It was so-so when it came out in 2021 or 2022 when I bought it, and it is still a bit so-so in 2025. So that's also an area which they can improve massively upon the next generation. So that gives us an overall score of 8.6 out of 10. And yeah, as I said in the beginning, I think this is an amazing laptop. It does everything that I need except running local LLMs on my machine, but that is likely not the case for many of you guys. The battery is great, the design amazing, ergonomics are great. So yeah, I think it's amazing value, especially at $1,000. If you can get it for that price, instead of maybe looking at an M4 MacBook. But I think $1,000 for an M1 Pro is much better because you get that much better mini LED screen. You get 120 Hertz, and the M1 Pro is still substantially more powerful than an M4 chip. That's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions and if there's other features that you really wish that this laptop had.